So we are back.
Yes.
It's been one of those days where technology is not our friend.
Yeah, not really.
Not our friend. Everything's just not our friend. But thank you for your patience. Can you please let people know who you are again? Round two.
It's cool. So, in case anybody missed, my artist name is K-Rym Musician, and I am a music artist and entertainer from Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we are back here again with this interview with Sogand.
Welcome back to Talks with Sylviand. I'm so
Thank
excited to get into this because this is a new endeavor for me, and I just really appreciate you being open to talking to me. I know we did a Instagram live during lockdown. You remember that?
Yeah, that must have been a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like probably 2020. It was very quick.
Yeah.
I don't even think it was planned. I think you just like I was on live and you just like came on or something.
Probably. Yeah, most likely.
Yeah. So we actually haven't spoken much like this. Like this is probably the
Yeah,
second or third time we're actually talking face to face.
that's true.
But I feel like I've like watched you like thrive and like prosper, and I love
Yeah,
it.
I do like to post a lot of stories and things of what I do and my shows and stuff. Not my personal life, but mostly my artist life and a lot of nonsense that happened in Montreal. Because yeah, Montreal is a very interesting city, and I feel like I'm always at the right time at the right place. So I was like, you know what? If I don't document it, people won't believe me.
I mean, I've been to Montreal once. It's pretty quiet when I went there, so I don't know. But I wasn't there
Mm,
to, like
int-
notice anything.
interesting. Yeah, I think compared to the last time you came here until now, it's been getting very noisy.
You know,
I'm not saying I'm
oh,
not saying bad things happen. I'm just saying there's way more activity compared to when there was lockdown. Lockdown.
oh no, I didn't come during lockdown. I think I
Mm.
was 2018 or 2019, something like that.
Ah, I see. Yes, it's activity has gotten up ever since.
Yeah, I mean worldwide though. Hey,
That's
world.
true. That's true.
So I think it's interesting though that I came to your city a year ago before we connected. I think that's interesting how that works.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
mhm,
So in part one, before technology got in the way,
yeah,
you were saying that things weren't going great for you when we had our first dialogue.
exactly.
And I think you actually responded that night when I reached out to you.
It must have been that night. Yeah,
Yeah, I think you said, "Oh wow, thank you," or something like
yeah.
something.
Because I honestly at the time it was words that I kind of needed to hear as well. Because yeah, at the time nobody was really aware of what was going on. I've been pretty good at masking
Mhm.
masking things, which will bring me to my next point a little further down the interview. But yeah, and then it was then some people started to notice that, hey, what's going on? You don't seem to be all right. And then that's when I started opening up more and more after we had our conversation on Instagram.
Would you say that me reaching out and you being vulnerable, you didn't tell me much. I think you did say you've been drinking.
Yeah.
I, I've been drinking. Okay, sorry. I think that you told me that, but you didn't tell me much. Would you say, though, that was permission for you to unmask? Sometimes I find that it's easier to unmask to a stranger than it is to people that you know. Would you
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah, I think I do strongly agree with that because
Okay.
I meet a lot of people. I guess I have this type of how can I say? I guess I'm the type of guy who people see as somebody they could open up to, since every time I talk to somebody it falls on mostly on confidential ears, and I don't know, I feel like people see a lot of trust in me when they meet me. I don't know how
You
they do, but hey, I'm glad they do.
have good energy. What's your sign?
Oh geez, I don't know much about science. I think I
What's your
am a. It's my birthday is August 22nd.
okay? You're not a Gemini, are you?
Let me look that up right quick. I think I'm a Leo.
Yeah. Okay.
August 22nd. Sign. Hold on. Sign.
I think you're probably a Leo. You're selective with who you let in, but the people that you let in feel safe with you. So that makes sense.
Makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
They're like protective of their pack.
Yeah, that does pretty much describe me around my with my people as well, whether it's friends, family, or just anybody who I can kind of see a bit of vulnerability, who I feel like they need that particular somebody in their lives.
Interesting. But also I think the metaphor of the lion is also important here in that like putting on the strong front always and always having to be the strong one. And that goes, and related to that masking, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense.
Listen. These astrologers know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, for the most part. I mean, I'm not really that
I have no knowledge.
Trying to get with it, but that I know because one of my good friends is a Leo. Shout out to her. She knows who she is. Okay, so would you say me connecting with you that night, because you said that was what kickstarted your healing journey. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, you were amongst the first ones, and plus at the same time, I was preparing to see a psychiatrist.
Okay.
And yeah, I think most of it was like, I think it was opening up to how I feel and not bottling everything up. Kind of also start to kind of keep yourself busy or whatnot. That's what the psychiatrist told me. Keep yourself busy, occupy yourself, and get that little outlet as a healthy way of coping instead of drinking. And then for also my conversation with you, I think it was mostly don't bottle everything up and start talking to whoever that's around you. So that's why I say it kind of started kickstarting my healing process, because I had this bad habit at the time where I would always think that people never really care about what I had to say or how I had to feel. So I just, I keep it quiet and, go along with my day until I learned the hard way that it's really not a healthy way to do so.
When you say when you learned the hard way, was there a health scare? Did something happen?
Not really a health scare, because I like to compare it with a bottle of Coke. Okay. Lots of pressure until you shake it up, and all of a sudden, on the wrong, on the wrong day, you just explode.
Powerful.
So that's why that's how I like to compare it, and that's what has happened beforehand, and ended up breaking something that I didn't want to break, and I was like, that's when I realized, oh damn, no, I should have, It was like instant regret.
Yeah, makes sense. Especially in these times, in these trying times financially, we don't want to have any more expenses than we need, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so thank you for your vulnerability. I really appreciate it. Was it a result of upbringing? Was it a result of being a man in the society? Was it a result of being a Black man? I know, I'm very passionate about all three of those areas. Would you say that was what resulted in the masking, or was it other things?
To be honest, I think I couldn't exactly pinpoint where it all started and what might have triggered, but I know that a lot of it had to come with, lots of situational stuff growing up and current situations at the time. A couple months, about a year or so before we first started talking, with losses and heartbreaks and failures,
Mm,
and but those are the situational stuff at the time. And when it comes to generally, I think yes, having to grow up, having to grow up a black man, especially in the province of Quebec, did have a lot of it did have a factor to it.
mm,
And honestly, when it came to that as well, my mom, she's done her best when it comes to, hey, watch out how you react to things, and watch out how you say stuff, because especially the fact that I'm big too, it does I wouldn't say it poses a threat, but people see that as a threat.
mm.
Especially, that's why, yeah, when I turned 18, I did work on myself and say, hey, chill out, don't get mad at all types of stuff, because yeah, people get scared. At the time, I was a very angry guy too. So
It's a little early for me to ask, but if there's any black man listening to this, do you have any words of wisdom for them at this conjuncture?
honestly, it's kind of hard to it's a little hard to say just yet, because I'm still in the process of finding healthy ways to deal with these people. Because I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the time you come across a lot of and pardon if I offend people, but you come across a lot of idiots. So it is it is
Facts.
kind of stronger. It
Yeah.
is stronger than you. So, but if I had to say something to my peers, honestly, man, just breathe.
Mhm.
Just breathe, just breathe, just breathe. Because a lot of people, they don't really think twice. And I wouldn't say just black men, but people in general, they don't think twice before reacting to a certain stuff. But honestly, just assess the situation, breathe, think of the possible outcomes of your reaction and the consequences that will occur later on. And that I had to learn that a lot during high school. Just think of what the consequences will be to your reaction.
Mm.
But and at the same time, it's understandable, man. There's a lot of people that are not very smart. They're not very nice, man. But hey, on my side, I always try and be the bigger person.
Mm. Yeah, I think it doesn't help that there's systemic racism, and it doesn't help that, you know, we know that some people get targeted more than others, and we know that some people get treated differently in our systems.
Especially with the racism in Quebec. Like growing up, I've from a young age up until now, I've been subjected to that,
Wow.
and not only this systemic racism, but also fetishism, which,
Oh.
yeah, I'm not really too cool about that neither. Like, yes, I understand y'all love us, but we're still human too. So,
Mm. How's the correct way to love when you say y'all love us?
like, y'all appreciate our looks, y'all appreciate our culture, our food, our language, especially in Montreal. People love off Haitians,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, but at the same time, I do hear a lot of people talk about, yes, they want a Haitian child. Well, they want a Haitian child, and they want them to experience culture, and I want to have culture in the family. It's like that's not the goal. If you love somebody, you gotta love them for who they are, not for their features.
Wait, are you Haitian?
On my mother's side, yes, and on my father's side, we're from Saint Vincent.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool. But yes, I think that what is it? They love our rhythm, but they don't love our blues.
Basically, and
Mm-hmm.
that's something that they won't always understand, because it's not their reality neither. Back to how's the correct way to love, in my opinion, is just love somebody for who they are.
I love that. What's your love language? Do you know yet?
My love language, that's a good question. I'd say, for me, I'd say communication, words of
I
words
knew
of
it.
words
Mm-hmm.
of affirmation,
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if we're talking going a little bit further, physical touch does have is a pretty important factor to it too. But to me, for most people that I encounter, yes, positive words, words of encouragement, words of love, and compliments.
Yeah.
Them know they are. Let them know that they are all valued and they're worth it.
I'm gonna ask a question now. If you don't like this part, we can cut it out.
Okay.
You've been very open about your celibacy. And I'm curious about, because you just said physical touch. That's where like it prompted
Yeah.
that. Why was it important for you to be open about standing on that? I don't know if that has changed, but there was a time where you were very open about, temptation is real and I'm standing on business.
Yeah. Temptation real. I'm standing on business. Uh, Honestly, I think when it comes to celibacy, and first off, I've been using the word celibacy wrong this whole time until I actually had to look it up. It actually meant staying single and not always practicing an engagement in, sexual
Mhm.
activity. But I thought it only meant staying single. People could do whatever. People could do whatever they want.
Mhm.
I don't mind. It's their body, their choice. But yes, to go back to your question, honestly, celibacy really keeps you grounded and focused and
Mhm.
pretty much down to earth when it comes to yourself and the people around you.
Mhm.
Because as much as I make dirty jokes and I do a lot of sexual jokes and talk about, and I do like to learn about, the more frisky, kinky stuff as well, but just for my knowledge. And it's okay to have that feeling, but I've seen a lot of people become too distracted by that. And that's what a lot of the time leads to their, not really their downfall, but kind of leads to them kind of hitting a wall.
Mhm.
In my case, in my case, yes, for the longest time, I've stayed celibate, but a lot of the times you have your urges, your temptations, your needs, and I'm a human just like everybody.
Mhm.
Then yeah, just about what are we? Almost November. About a year ago, I did lose my V card. Turns
Mhm.
out it was to the wrong person after situations.
I'm sorry.
But honestly, you live and you learn.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big experience, but I'm assuming that in your healing, you decided at some point that celibacy or abstinence or whatever you want to call it, boundaries within your physicality and sexuality were important.
Yeah,
And I
you got
think a lot of men maybe don't talk about that as much. So I thought it was important to bring up that. And I think I messaged you and I told you how proud I am of you when you were doing it then too.
thanks, but definitely, yeah, it's true that not a lot of men talk about it, especially Black men, West Indian men in particular,
Mm,
because subject like that is always taboo, and not a lot of people want to talk about it until whether they get into that situation and either have an unplanned child or catch something or just deals with the wrong person who also isn't too well in their heads neither. It's
mm,
always important to talk about it. So I would say to fathers out there, it's okay to talk about the birds and the bees. It's gonna be awkward. It's gonna be awkward between you and your child.
mm,
Your child is going to cringe, but it's important that they're informed rather than learn the hard way too late.
mm. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of sexual health and sexual education missing in a lot of communities, I think.
Oh
So,
yeah,
yeah. And if you're not learning from people who are qualified to teach you, you're going to learn from other ways.
I've been seeing that too many times with the peers around me, which sucks. And a lot of the times, by example, if they have a child, the child, they end up, refocusing and, focus on their child and their life. And that's where it's that turning point as, okay, let me focus, let me get my stuff back together, which is honestly is great. I
Mhm.
feel people have redeemed themselves personally.
Yeah, I mean, I think, but even you posting that, gives the safe space for others other men to be
Yeah.
like, maybe I can talk about this too.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And the people around me, they know they can talk to me about anything, you know. So
Mhm.
I'm always down to engage in that conversation. As long as it's not like too much information to a certain extent, then I'm cool. I'm cool with it.
Isn't it always interesting that those who are the easiest to talk to often are the ones who mask the hardest?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
I said, isn't it interesting that those who are the easiest to talk to often mask the hardest or keep
Oh, for
or
sure.
repress and suppress? I just think that's so interesting.
For sure, for sure. And I can relate to that too. Especially
Mm,
me who likes to talk to people, meet people, talk about situations, especially make people laugh because I'm a funny guy as well.
yes, you are.
I think it's I think honestly it's when you when they're easy to talk to, I think they just find that a bit of a distraction as to what is going on in their own personal life. But
Mm.
that's just my opinion.
I mean, yeah, but I also think that people who, suppress a lot know what it's like to be hurt and then
Exactly.
go out of their way to not. The ones who are interested in healing, because we know that hurt people can also hurt people, right? That's also true.
Exactly.
But the ones that like don't want to hurt people know what it's like to be hurt and then provide a safe space for others.
It's a lot of empathy on their side as well. So, might if they feel like nobody's there for them, at least, might as well be there for others that need it.
Hmm. So, speaking of empathy, tell me about what did you start doing with the healing journey? So, you went to a psychiatrist, which is so dope. I'm so proud of you because that can be scary. That can
Thanks.
be an experience.
Yes, it was at the time I did go, and then I did talk to different people as well.
Okay.
But I wasn't. I was going somewhere to a certain extent, but then the question of pills and medication started to kick in, and at the time it kind of scared me away.
Mm, mhm.
So I went and got. I haven't done much afterwards, other than just working and go to school and work on music and working out, especially when COVID hit. It was just work, 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 work all the time because the job that I didn't have, it never closed since it
Okay.
was deemed a essential business.
Mhm.
So I think it was mostly keeping and staying distracted until I think the second or third lockdown around 2022, where this time I really had nothing to do. So I kind of went back to square one.
Mm.
Hold on, no, I stand corrected. Around 2021, it was kind of back to square one, and it was back to drinking and back to staying
Mhm.
home and not doing anything. And so it did start. I did start it off, but then I kind of took a couple steps back, and I wouldn't say relapse,
Mhm.
but I did take a couple steps back at the time.
In healing, I think it's important that people recognize that setbacks are normal.
Yeah,
It's normal because, again, temptation is real, but you got to stand on business. But temptation in so many ways, right? Especially when you become so accustomed and familiar to patterns of pain and trauma. Sometimes that familiarity will make you want to go back to it because what's unfamiliar, even though it could be good for you, it's unfamiliar. And so you
exactly.
traumatize yourself by going towards something that's unfamiliar. So you're going to go back to what was working, the coping, which wasn't actually working because at the end of the day that that path isn't a good one. It's unfortunately we know that alcohol is a depressant in the long term, right?
Oh yeah.
Um, I was actually having this conversation with a client of mine earlier, and I just said, like, I personally, so I don't drink, I've never drank, but I have lost family members to alcohol overdose. And so it's something that I have a lot of like grievance towards. That being said, I also recognize why people drink, right? It's a coping mechanism. I get it. Um, but like from a societal lens, because you know I'm a nerd and I have to psychoanalyze everything and everyone, it bothers me that we make alcohol so available, right? And we make it like so accessible, available, and also like I've been shamed for not drinking. You know, I went to an all-inclusive resort vacation years ago, and I was like the laughing stock of a lot of people. What do you mean you're on vacation and you don't want to drink? So
Yeah.
peer pressure, right?
Mhm.
Um, but then we also shame the person who develops an addiction or develops unhealthy coping mechanism to alcohol. So it's like we give it to them and then we get mad at them for taking what we deem is uncomfortable, and then we don't have the services in place to help them. Does that resonate?
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense, and I find it's the same way with the cigarettes too, compared to
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that's another one. I mean, anything really, but I just feel like, I mean, for me, when lockdown happened and everything was closed except essential businesses,
Yeah,
I was really shocked to find that liquor stores were considered
that
essential.
was exactly. No, I was thinking that too, because I was like, I was just saying that too at the time, because I'm like, yeah, some parts of the grocery stores they're gonna close it down. They're gonna close the WalMarts, and at the time,
Mm.
oh no, man, I don't know. I feel like I'm not trying to be a conspiracy here, but I know there was a bit of a plot there.
I mean, so then again, so it's like, okay, if it's an essential, then people need it. And if people need it, then are we also providing supports in place for them to lean off of it if they want it, or to harm reduction, or to decide that they don't want it? I know there's a sober professor that I love so much, and she was telling me, because she does a lot of research in this area, she was telling me that there's bars now that are alcohol free. And so there's changes happening slowly, but I think like in like a macro level, we shame what is so accessible and available. And I personally struggle with that because it's like, I don't know, the humanity I feel like gets lost in the sauce.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. Because at
Yeah.
the time too, before I started drinking, I went through the same thing too, and
Mm.
even around at current events now, like when I go to parties or different stuff, type of events, I have some friends that don't drink, whether it's by choice or medical reasons they can't drink. Some people they're like, you don't drink, what is wrong with you? But then I'm compelled a lot of the time to tell them it's like, okay, it's for a medical reason. So just to show them that it's an understandable reason, that they don't necessarily always have to have consume these products.
Mm. So what's your relationship like with alcohol now?
It's moderate. I don't drink as much anymore because first off, I'm so much into my fitness now,
Mm.
and second off, yeah, now it's only occasionally. Only occasionally. If I'm going out, some friends, if I have a show and somebody wants to buy me a drink, perfect, cool, thank you very much. Birthday parties, stuff like that. So it has really improved over time because yeah, now I don't feel like I necessarily need it as much.
Okay. What came into place to replace the alcohol in your healing journey? Because you were very dependent on it, as you said. So, you said the pills and stuff. You weren't ready for that at some point. So, and by pills, we were talking about medication, prescription.
Yeah,
Um, so what was in replacement of the alcohol in your healing?
I didn't have any at the time until I had a pretty effective health scare at the time.
Oh.
So based somewhere around 2020, it was end of 2020, early 2021, where I did have a big health scare where my lymph nodes were swollen, and I'm talking excruciatingly swollen, like visual bumps in my neck.
Oh.
And doctors thought I had lymphoma. So
Mm.
Now, at the time, I didn't know what lymphoma was. I didn't know that it was something that was highly treatable. But I asked what was lymphoma. He said, "Oh, it's a cancer in your lymph nodes." So that's when I was like,
Wow.
"Okay, this is it for me." I thought it was it for me. So went through biopsies, two of them to be exact, and a lot of waiting for results. And it's one thing when one doctor is convinced that you have it, but when you transfer to another hospital and two other doctors are also convinced, that's when it really scares the daylights out of you. Now, on the outside, I was okay. I didn't really talk about it much with my peers until it was time to go for surgery. But on the inside, man, how do you say? I was more than scared. I was frightened. Like I thought it was done for me, and it's gotten to a point where now, don't get me wrong, I've been a daredevil. I've tried a lot of things, and not a lot of things scare me much. But that right there is gotten to a point where I was laying down in bed and I was scared to actually go to sleep. To the point where, what if it takes control of my body in my sleep and I don't wake up? So I was telling myself, like, damn, I really want to live long enough to see what I'm gonna become in life and not just go like that. Now, on the bright side, after all the many blood tests and biopsies and surgeries and evaluations, it wasn't the case. And how what was the source of the situation still remains a mystery. But that was my turning point as to, okay, I need to get my life back in order for real.
Wow. I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, I kept it pretty secret. Like, I didn't even tell, not even my family members. Only my mom knew, my sisters knew, but those were the only people I talked about it until, of course, news went. I got family, so news goes around, and it was time for me to go to surgery. So that's when I opened up and be like, guys, this is happening. I got this particular situation, and I'm going to surgery. Now, some people were annoyed at me because I didn't tell them, but at the same time, they understood that I didn't want to cause worry, especially at the fact that I had a whole, like, 2 years of depression beforehand. So yeah, that was pretty much the turning point when it came to my personal life and kind of getting myself back in order.
Well, I'd like to make an educated hypothesis.
Yeah.
This is an educated guess. I mean, I'm not your doctor, I'm not your therapist, but just saying that we know from a psychological perspective that suppression of emotions doesn't go away. So when you say we don't know what the cause was, could it be that it was psychosomatic and that it was mental health related?
That's what I was thinking too, because I did ask the question and they said that they didn't know yet.
Yeah, and there's a lot of research still being done on somatic disorders and somatic mental health stuff, but I mean, I see it so often that I can't help but think maybe. I'm not
Exactly.
in a place to diagnose, but maybe.
Exactly. But maybe because it's true that I was an angry guy at the time as well, because, lockdown, COVID, work, and people are out of their minds.
So going back to what you said earlier, especially for the brothers, breathe.
Yeah. Those are my reminders now. Ever since I had that situation too, man, a lot of the time now is just breathe. Just breathe, bring your temperature back down. Assess the situation.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool.
But, how's it going? Little pause, a little check-in. How you doing? You doing good?
Yep, everything good.
Okay. I also wanted to say that just in that breathing, most people don't breathe properly. Most people, it's from their shallow breath.
Yeah.
And they don't actually breathe from where they're supposed to breathe from. And so, I'm sure you know this, but for anybody who's listening, I learned from a therapist back in the day We were doing a workshop for survivors of domestic violence, and she told them that there's a part in the brain called the amygdala, and that is like the alarm system for your body. And taking 3 deep breaths can offset that alarm system. And so it can help tremendously in de-escalating you and regulating you. So for anybody who's listening, when our homie here said, breathe, it's actually scientific. I know it's become like, so like, just breathe, but it's true.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's very true.
Especially when you're in a state of anxiety, nervousness, panic, like anything, really. Even I find myself sometimes when I'm in a good place, like joyful.
Yeah.
But I've gotten to a place where I'm like, so I can just breathe. Like I have to remind myself. I tell some of my clients to like definitely try to put in some kind of meditation in their day, even if it's, I did one with my clients on Monday. It was literally a 3-minute meditation. I had her lay on the grass and we listened to it together, So, everybody always says they're busy and all of these things, but these things, as we just talked about, they'll catch up to you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially in the long run.
Mm-hmm. Breathing's gonna catch up to you.
Exactly. Friend Adam Actus, I haven't spoken to him in a while. I'll never forget this one quote he said when I was on his podcast at the time. He said, whatever you do now will affect anything that you do in the future. So that's why whenever it's heat in the moment, man, yeah, just breathe.
And I think it's just so interesting, again, going back to like a macro societal level. Everybody says you are what you eat, and there's only so much like fixation on health, but it's never mental health, And you are also what you take in. You're also what you listen to. You're also what you're surrounded by. You're also,
especially what you're surrounded by. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So you're also your self-care or lack of it. I mean, we are not robots. I think that, hustle culture, I know I'm guilty of this, has made you feel like you have to be a robot out here on these streets. Because, there's no room for the weak, right? It's the survival of the fittest. You got to get up every day and go get it. But that doesn't leave room for your humanity. And that doesn't leave room for, like, human emotion, and human
exactly.
error.
Which I found is very, very unfortunate too, because I've seen too many people around me do that, hustle, go to work and, get that money, get that bag, success and everything until they crash physically, which is horrible.
Speaking of crashing, I just realized my mic was not on this whole time.
I was hearing you though, but
yeah, this like recording will be good, but I was trying to make it crisp.
Oops.
And I just realized I was so into it, I didn't even notice that it wasn't on. Well, for the last 42 minutes and it wasn't even on. Well, you know what? Human error. It's okay.
Yeah, it happens. I was hearing you though, so
yeah, and you know what? Those who need to hear this will hear it, even though it's not as crisp as I would like it to be. But that's where that self-compassion comes in. Do you feel self-compassion for that past version of you and those past versions of you, or are you still working on that right now?
That's a good question. I honestly feel like I'm still working on it.
Okay.
But nowadays it's from a more understandable point of view.
Good.
Yeah, it's a bit more understandable because at the time it's like, yo, what's going on? Like why is this happening? But at the same time, with time and experience, I've come to realize, things happen for a reason, and a lot of the times it's pretty much a blessing in disguise. As much as I hate to admit it when it comes to certain situations, because a lot of situations are much worse than the others, but at the end of the day, things turn out to be a blessing in disguise for your own personal development. In some cases.
Yeah, silver linings are important, but as is holding space for the pain and the trauma. I think toxic positivity has this feeling like everything's great, everything's positive, everything's always, but it's not. And there's,
Yeah.
you
No,
know, back to,
exactly. Not to the point where it gets to becomes delusion. So
yeah, and but also that goes back to what we were talking about masking, right? Like you mask when you're always like everything's great, everything's wonderful, everything's great. Like it's like, but you know, and your body knows it's not.
deep down, it's not. It's just that you don't want to cause any type of worries. You don't want to have that spotlight on you all the time.
Yeah.
Which honestly, at the time, after I opened up about depression, what was going on. After I was like, okay, guys, just leave me alone with it. Everything's okay. I'm good. I'm good. You guys were already worried enough about me. I'll be okay.
I think my mic died, so rest in peace.
Oh,
it's okay. We're good. We're just gonna have to use the MacBook Air quality now. Okay, so you had the health scare. I'm so glad you're good now and you overcame that. So you had the health scare, and then what? You just started leaning into your health more, like health, like holistic health, or
yes. From there, I started into more of the health. I started. I just got. I got blah, blah, blah. At the time, about a month after my second surgery, and I healed. I got back into the martial arts that I've stopped for quite a while. Got into the kickboxing and the Muay Thai just for the sake of my health. I started biking to work because work wasn't too far. Plus, it was spring, so got me a bike. Started biking to work, biking to the gym. Well, the gym where I work out and the other gym, the other MMA gym, and that's what it was. I think I started to become more and more fit, and that was me on the physical part. Mental part, I did keep myself busy, and I did get back to music as well, because I remember at a time I stopped doing music because of everything. So I got back into that, and yeah, I just get myself busy. I was dealing with somebody going on and stuff like that. That didn't end well, which led to me releasing the song Queen. But but at the time, things were all right. I think I felt like things were starting to get better and improve until by the end of 2021, another lockdown occurred because of COVID again. But this time, that lockdown just made no sense because it's like, geez, man, everything was going so well. Yeah, it was that moment when I was thinking everything was going so well, and then back again, the government, and their lockdowns. But when I got through that, got me a new job, stayed busy with that as well, and I noticed I noticed that I was drinking way less as well because I was so busy. I think for the most part, it was just staying busy, staying distracted.
Yeah.
And beginning of 2022, yeah, it was iffy. Didn't know where I was going because, a lot of things were closed because of lockdown. My resources were limited until everything started to open again. And this time it was going to be for good. And that led to not only my personal life, but my artist life kind of catapulting because, well, local promoter, he organized a show in the Montreal underground scene, which I didn't know was going to catapult me to where I am now. I just thought it was going to be like one show, do it for fun, because I miss performing. And as soon as I stepped on that stage for the first time in like 4 years at the time, that's where I was like, damn, this is what I've been missing out on this whole time. This is crazy. And from there, that's where I met a lot of amazing new people, especially artists and promoters and stuff like that. And then every month or so, I started performing on, the some of the bigger stages in front of people I've never seen before. And then just the fact that from there I met people that would encourage me to where I am today. That's what really that's what really made me happy. And I did get emotional at a certain point because I'm like, damn, I really, because I remembered the health care that I had. And I'm thinking, damn, I really took life for granted. And that's what motivated me to kind of strive into what I do and to take care of myself more physically, take care of myself more mentally. And I felt like I started to become way better surrounded at the end of the day.
I love that. I think, yeah, going back to that environmental stuff, it's important, right? But it's also it's important to be at a place where you can receive
Oh,
some,
yeah.
right? Because sometimes you're surrounded by it, but if you're closed off to it, it's just gonna bounce off of you. So it
And I
sounds
feel
like
like that's what was going on with me as well because everything was closed and couldn't meet no people. I was just had to work and make money and trying to get by at least for the little bills that I had to pay. But until I started really doing what I love the most and what I kind of taken for granted because of my mental health,
Mhm.
that's what really kind of got me back to, feeling at the top of the world for the most part.
I think that we're going to be studying the impacts of lockdown for years
Yeah.
to come
Oh,
because
yeah.
I know that, another passion of mine is, domestic violence and working through that. And I can't even imagine the shelters. I remember when I was working in the domestic violence space, shelters were always so full. And,
Man.
also there's not as many male shelters for men
Yeah.
as there are shelters for women, which is another issue that I have with society. But
But
yeah,
was it mostly around the lockdown or was it
it
just
was
in general?
before. It was
Oh,
before.
oh,
So I
I mean,
worked,
it's still as bad, but
yeah, I worked heavy with DV until I launched my business. When I launched my business, I kind of like took a step back, but I launched my business right before the lockdown. It was very interesting timing. And then it just worked out because a lot of people were at home and looking for resources. But I just can't help but imagine how people were coping because a lot of people were then with their abusers or, without resources, like you said, or, coping through substances or unhealthy coping mechanisms because there was just a lot going on in the world and it was a tumultuous time because you were constantly hearing about deaths and death tolls and sickness
yeah,
and hospitals being too full and I mean all of that again it does something to you. um,
exactly. It does.
so I
Like,
think we'll be learning about this for years to come.
exactly. Especially in the hospital. Like, look at Joyce Echaquan, who died in the hospitals at the time in 2020 because of the mistreatment that happens, especially towards the natives. So I feel for the people that couldn't get the proper care at the hospital and also in the shelters as well.
Yeah,
And I did,
against racism. I mean, at
yeah,
every level, systemic racism is
that
very real.
exactly. That's how it went back to. That's how it goes back to the systemic racism as well. Because there's that and the domestic violence and the how do you say the assumptions of your race. That it was just all a bad mix.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the person you named. I'm going to look into that. But I'm glad that you brought it up because unfortunately, a lot of people lost their lives, during that time.
It really sucks.
Racism doesn't help.
Doesn't
Um,
help neither.
but I mean, it was a really bad time. So I think, again, a lot of people, have like, they get sick more often now, or they have more allergies, or their bodies are, not working to the same capacity that it used to. And again, my educated hypothesis,
Yeah.
with having done like empirical research, but I mean, I know what I know and I see it. I think the impacts of isolation, the impacts of that, the epidemic that we were in, and the impacts of, again, people just prior to that, everybody was in hustle culture, right? Prior to that, everybody was masking and working through burnout, not even to
Exactly.
through it.
Through it.
And then now you're sitting alone with your thoughts, and you're sitting oftentimes without your resources. So I'm really happy you brought that up, because yeah, I think there were a lot of people, I think, that suffered in silence. But I'm just grateful that you found a way out.
Oh, it really has. Like honestly, I just kind of cruised through it and stuff like that. And then
Mm.
it was then when I started, doing what I love, which was the music and the entertainment. That's what really brought me back. I had a random question though, and I know it's gonna be just a matter of opinion. You don't have to answer it. What did you think about the pressuring of the government to give the to take the vaccines? Because I feel like that really affected people's health as well as much as the lockdown.
I know that people do have strong opinions on it. I don't really have an opinion per se, because I have a severely immunocompromised person in my house. So for her health, we had to take serious measures of, I only would hang out with people who've been vaccinated.
Mhm.
I had to wear masks, even when the masks weren't mandatory.
Yeah.
Uh, we were wiping everything down. Like, we were really, but like the way we are still with her is very careful.
Mhm.
So my perspective is going to be very different, because I like, she's super immunocompromised, so like we couldn't risk it.
Which
Um,
is mhm.
so
Which
so
is understandable too, because
yeah,
in that particular case, that's understandable.
yeah. So
But
I can't really say I understand why people were frustrated, because it was, a lot of people have never dealt with it. It was unprecedented for a lot of people, and then for people like me, who every day of our lives we have to be careful with this immunocompromised person, it was just like on steroids. So
mhm.
I know it's like a touchy subject, and I don't really have a position, because I think, my position is always, I just like to hear people's stories, because I can validate that. I hear your frustrations,
Yeah,
and I know a lot of people actually in Montreal were very frustrated.
yeah,
Um,
especially in Montreal. I don't know about the rest of Canada, because yeah, no, like, uh, sorry, but in your case, no, very very understandable. I completely agree with you on that. But definitely in Montreal, man, oof, Montreal was that was another era of as a very split and divided population.
but the Quebecois, you guys, like, you know how your license plate is "We Remember" or "I Remember" or
Oh
something.
yeah, je me souviens. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are very like different anyways, in terms of everything, in that like you're very vocal about what you like and what you don't like. I
Oh
think
yeah.
perhaps more than the rest of the province, and hence so many Quebecois want to like separate and do their own thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially the unsolicited opinions. Here in
Yeah,
Quebec.
exactly. So yeah, so I mean, I'm familiar with the multiple opinions, because I know a lot of people from Montreal. So I mean, I don't really have a position. I guess that doesn't really answer your question, but
Yeah,
I
but
see both sides.
yeah, no, I'm perfectly fine with it.
But that's who I really am. You know this about me. I see both
Yeah.
sides. Of like,
No, you look at different sides to it, which
I will
honestly
see
I think is really cool.
himself and talk to him if I could. Like, I mean, I want to see every side of every story, because psychoanalytic, right? I always want to
Mhm.
like, why are you the way that you are?
Exactly. No, which no, but honestly, for that question, no, great. I say great answer.
Thank you. But I also want to validate. I mean, I think that for a lot of people who didn't have resources, and again, the transition from hustle culture and go 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 to nothing, zero, sitting at home, often with abusers, often without coping mechanisms. Um, I think again we're going to be seeing a lot of how that's impacted folks. But I'm proud of you, because you've turned it around, and now you're doing shows and you are releasing music. So I'm curious about how that happened. You really turn your pain into power, like Oprah says.
Oh yeah, that's what I've been told as well, especially for my when I first released my single of Life is Hopeless that I released 5 years ago.
I
Well,
remember
it was
that.
the music video. I didn't release that as a single, but the music video, of course, which was right before the lockdown. That's when I that was like the official way of me opening up about it.
Mm,
That went very well. And honestly, I did my first experimental song, Don't Do It. I was thinking, okay, this is going to be my only one. But then I did Life is Hopeless, just, get it off my chest and kind of have people more aware about mental health. And then from then, that's when I was thinking also, this will be probably my only two tracks. Like I never really planned on continue it, continue with it. But then after my everything that happened from 20, like end of 2018 to probably around 2021,
mm,
all of these events led to my EP Life is Hopeless, which told the story of my experience with mental health, whether it's with the addiction or the relationships with people or my battle against myself.
mm.
And I'm honestly glad that I got to even get the courage to write this song and compose and produce and record and all of that. Even the engineer I was working with at the time, he was like, "Yo, you really put your whole story in such a beautiful art form." And I was like, "Damn, yo, thank you so much." Then yeah, and I released it. I released the whole EP in almost 2 years ago now, and I was still new into the underground scene in Montreal.
Mm,
And yeah, as soon as I released that, that I felt like was a I had a big sigh of relief.
amazing.
Big sigh of relief, mostly because people were understanding, not only
Mm,
understanding what I was going through at the time, a lot of people related to it as well.
absolutely. It's so necessary. Beautiful project. How
Ah,
can
thank you so much.
humble listeners, we're growing slowly, but those who need to hear this well, how can folks support you and your music?
Mm,
You're more than just a musician, you're just a well-rounded human being with multiple talents.
thank you so much. But definitely no, how could they support? Honestly, listen to my streams. Same name, K-Rym Musician on all platforms. My Instagram, I'm mostly active on Instagram, prime at prime underscore musician, MUZISHUNN 2.0, because that's a new account. My old one has been hacked, unfortunately.
Mm,
That was a weird error as well. And I am embarking onto new projects. I have been pushing a lot of my music, doing a lot of promo stuff because I don't have a team. I'm doing it all by myself for now, at least.
mhm.
And yeah, for other ways to support me, I am embarking on new projects, whether it's music, interviews, uh, just content. Yeah, honestly. And also, don't be shy to message me. I'm
Oh,
always
yeah,
open to people messaging me, and
beautiful.
especially whether it's feedback on my music and how they relate to it, and stories on their life. I'm always down to talk to about anybody. If it takes me a lot of time to answer, it's just because I'm busy. But one
Mhm.
thing at the end of the day, I'll always get back to it.
Beautiful. I will plug your socials so that folks can contact you. I
Thank you so much.
spent so much of your time today. Thank you so much.
No, it's okay. I got all the time.
Thank you so much for just being open to talking about this. I really think um this is so unique. Our connection is unique. What you've done with your life since we first connected is so unique. And I'm just really grateful that you were willing to share your story.
Thank you. I'm grateful that you invited me on here to talk further about this. I feel like I know a lot of people who don't have that voice just yet will hopefully get to relate and kind of listen to what we had to say and kind of apply it to their lives as well.
Mm-hmm. I hope.
And yeah, but me at the end of the day, whether I'm doing okay or not okay, at least for the people around me who needed it, I'll always try and spread these good vibes and show that, these people are never alone in situations like that.
Good. When you have those not okay days, because it's okay to not be okay, what does your self-care look like now?
Honestly, it depends how I feel. If I
Okay.
feel despaired and I just want to be like, oh, I'm so done with everything, go home, Go on your laptop, watch YouTube, watch Netflix, read a book, do something nice and calm. If you got pets, spend some quality time with your pets.
That part, that part.
Definitely, because I currently have a dog. That dog, he's obsessed with me, but hey, it's okay. Need him. I did have some other pets, but they've passed unfortunately. But all of them, take care of your pets. If you got children, take care, spend some quality time with them too.
Mm.
Even no matter the age. A lot of kids they'll be more attached to you if they grow up. They're teenagers. They're like, oh, I don't need my mom. My mom's not cool, but it's okay. It's the time that counts. Where if they don't realize it now, they'll realize it later. So,
Facts. Okay.
and
Um,
if you're feeling angry, frustrated, you want to hit something, I say the healthy thing is get that energy out the safe way. Go to the gym, go do some boxing, kickboxing, right? Sports, just sports.
or go to a rage room.
Oh yes, I
Things
remember I used to work at one.
just the
Right
workout.
before, no, it was. I remember I used to work at this combat sports recreational place right before COVID, and one of them had a rage room. And I loved hosting those because I'm like, come on, guys, you guys had a long week. All right, I want to hear the most noise in there. Get it all out, okay?
I think that's incredible. Yeah. Okay, amazing. Is there anything else you'd like to mention?
At the end of the day, uh, whether you're a listener or just passing by through this interview, just know that whenever you feel like you don't matter in this world, just know that you're always going to mean something to someone. If it's not for you, it's going to be for whether a family member, a friend, whether it's a close or even a distant friend. Because distant friends, you don't realize that they're there, they're looking at you and they're like, yo, this guy's an inspiration. Anybody that you'll meet will see the importance in you at the end of the day.
Mm.
So if you feel like you don't matter to this world anymore, just know that people around you, they see your worth and they see the worth more than you realize, and hopefully they get to come talk to you and give you these good vibes and stuff like that. But just know that at the end of the day, you are important and the world does need you.
Absolutely. And even people that don't know you, I didn't know you. I didn't know anything about you. You didn't even have a profile picture. But I felt intuitively that your spirit, was a good spirit. And so when you say people will feel it and people will be inspired, it can be people that don't even know you. I mean, I was working at my 9 to 5 job and I was on my break and here we are. Who knew? Like, so absolutely, you do matter. You matter.
Ah,
Um,
thanks, and you matter too.
thank you. You've seen me also do a lot of things since we connected too, because I wasn't
Yeah,
business then. I wasn't really on social media like that then.
yeah. No, I saw you had the business going on. I know that you're out there, helping other people. If it's not me, if it's not the close one, and this is what I gotta give you props to that too, because this is how do you say? I don't want to make assumption, but I guess this is something that kind of gives you more um that makes you feel more, you know, worth it as a fellow human being. I don't know if I put that in proper words, but
Totally, it's a purpose. Definitely, it's definitely my purpose to listen and provide support. Definitely, it's something I really enjoy. So thank you. I think that this is going to be so beneficial to. I always say, even if one person can benefit, but I know many more than just one will. I appreciate
thank you. Thank you. And I thank you as well for reaching out to me that first day, because I don't know how it would have ended up if, you didn't approach me, if I didn't, if other people at this, well, the very few other people at the time I didn't approach as well, man. But yeah, definitely you were amongst the first one to help me out and, give me a few pointers. And that's what I got to, you know, kind of take notes, put it into practice, and share that knowledge as well.
I'm so grateful. This is amazing. One day we will meet in person. Maybe
Definitely.
or you'll come to your first show. I don't know. I'm manifesting that for you. Come through to Alberta for some shows.
Yeah, Alberta seems to be cool. I know some people from over there, and
Yeah,
they're like, "Yeah, you gotta come, man." And I was like, "Definitely, one of these days."
we can, use your talent and your artistry. Thank you. Is there any parting words, or should we wrap it up? Because
I think we should wrap it up. Other than take care of yourselves.
take care. Lots of love. I will be continuing to support you and sending you always good energy. And I will
Thank you so
give
much.
socials so you can check him out and stream his music. Oh.
Definitely. Thank you so much.